We're going back to Dr. Russell Blaylock in a moment. We are going to open the phones up coming up in the next segment into the next hour. He'll be with us till about 40 after or so next hour, close to 2 hours. I want to get into this whole youth brigade and Obama wanting to make all the kids pledge allegiance to him, basically. And that's what they said in their press release last week. Now they're trying to spin it. So we're going to discuss that coming up. I did want to let you, the listeners, know about a few of the sponsors that make this radio show possible. Well, look at that headline. I'm looking at Infowars.com across the room, and it says, Governor tells citizens they must take the shot, patriotic duty. I mean, this is just getting so Orwellian, but that's coming up in a moment. I did want to tell the listeners about a new sponsor we have. You can go check it out and see the claims that they're making. It's Silver Lungs. Silver Lungs generator is a highly cost-effective colloidal silver generator and lung delivery system that produces pure and endless colloidal silver and delivers the solution. And you can go check out, again, what they're saying at silverlungs.com. And very, very interesting. We've had a lot of medical doctors and people on saying that nothing's a cure-all, nothing's perfect, but that nano silver is good for viruses and bacteria, and certainly a lot better than the reports we're seeing about people taking antibiotics ahead of the flu outbreak, thinking it's going to protect them all over the world, when antibiotics don't even protect you from a virus, but I guess from a secondary infection. Who knows? The point is, go find out more at silverlungs.com. Again, silverlungs.com. It's like an aerosolizer evaporator with the colloidal silver. And it has a great colloidal silver making kit that it comes with. One other sponsor that I want to let the listeners know about is efoodsdirect.com. In these crazy, uncertain times, you need to have some storable foods. These things last 15, 20 years in climate controlled. Now, at my house, they're in the garage because I don't have room, so it lasts 10 years guaranteed. It was recently packed, non-GMO, non-hybrid. They make the stuff every month. Triple enameled cans, super high quality, great price, no MSG. efoodsdirect.com, the letter E, foodsdirect.com. You'll never stand in a bread line if you have your own bread, or 1-800-409-5633, 1-800-409-5633, efoodsdirect.com. Okay, going back to Dr. Blaylock. Dr. Blaylock, you got interrupted by the break. You were trying to bring up the fact that they know this is in the vaccines, the contamination, but they continue to just go along with it. And as we see all the different diseases and autoimmune problems and toxicity being generated by this, we then see a compounding with the aspartame in thousands of products, the MSG under new names in almost everything I try to buy at the store. I mean, it's ridiculous. I know instantly when I have ingested MSG, I feel it within a few minutes or nearly instantly. The fluoride they're putting in the water. Can you break down the things that are in our environment, and then from your research, why this is happening?
Well, the fluoride, for instance, it's interesting that there's such compelling evidence that fluoride added to water does not reduce cavities at all. And even the American Dental Association has admitted that. So you have to ask yourself, well, if it doesn't reduce cavities, what's the purpose of it? Their flimsy excuse was, well, as the water flows over your teeth, it may topically strengthen your teeth. Well, of course, that's silly nonsense that a fourth grader would see through. So there's no justification, but we do know, and the National Research Institute did a very comprehensive study confirming what all the opponents of fluoridation have shown, and that is that fluoride is a powerful accumulative poison, meaning that it accumulates in the body and can stay there for a lifetime. It destroys bone, increases fractures and osteoporosis. It accumulates in the brain, combines with the aluminum, produces a very neurotoxic fluoroaluminum compound. All of this is known, so you're in a quandary as to, well, if it doesn't even attain its objective, that is reducing cavities, and everybody admits that, and it has all of these toxic effects. It even increases what are you putting it in the water for? Why does the government send its agents to little small townships that vote not to fluoridate their water? Why do they use the expense to send government agents from Washington, D.C. To pressure these people to vote it back in and use government granting to entice them to put fluoride back in the water? What's the purpose? Well, we don't have hard evidence, but we know fluoride has a definite behavioral effect on the brain. It can produce an apathy-like syndrome. It can affect the ability to think clearly. So is it a financial deal they have with the manufacturers of aluminum and the manufacturers of fertilizers to get rid of this waste product? What exactly is it? Well, you can use your imagination, but we know one thing: it has absolutely nothing to do with dental health. The MSG in the food, the research now is so compelling that it affects the formation and development of the brain, that it significantly can accelerate a number of neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and ALS, and migraine headaches, and a number of things, particularly behavioral changes in children, anger, violence. It's strongly connected to depression, particularly pathologic severe depression. So now that we know all these things and our neuroscience are connected to glutamate, why is the food filled with the glutamate additive that we know can trigger these conditions, including suicide? And that there's an interaction between fluoride and glutamate. There's an interaction between fluoride, aluminum, glutamate, and vaccination. That we know if you vaccinate an animal and expose them, for instance, to mercury, aluminum, it dramatically increases the toxicity of those two elements. So with all this abundant, hard neuroscience showing these interacting toxicities, why is the so-called protectors of the public, the EPA and the FDA, not getting these agents out of our food and halting this destructive and idiotic fluoridation in water campaign? Well, they're even talking about making it a federal law that every water system in America must be fluoridated.
Exactly. Now that the American people and the people of the world are fighting back and having it removed, and they admit it doubles the chances of males, adolescent males, to get bone cancer, they just admit that. I've had the scientist that leads the EPA union on, and 90+% of their scientists signed a letter saying, please take it out, because, and we've gotten a tour of the Austin water supply, and the people working there agreed with us. They said, yeah, we're told by the city to do this. We pay millions a year for it. And all it is the toxic waste left over from fertilizer manufacturing. They mine the limestone and then remove the chemicals they want and then leave the toxic waste. And it's over 100 chemicals they put in our water under the name fluoride. That's just so it's so insane, though, that the average person says there must be a reason for it, even though the American Dental Association now says kids shouldn't brush their teeth with fluoride toothpaste because it gives them dental fluorosis and makes the teeth shatter. My dad's a dentist. He now understands that, but if people want fluoride, he'll still give it to them. But, I mean, it's just amazing that this is going on, and we know from the literature that this is part of eugenics.